studios that are in crunch time, and there's always what Bill is calling the 1,000-yard stare. You guys, you can see that around the office, but there's a different air because it feels like you guys are really comfortable and having a good time. And I just wanted you to talk about how that's coming through in the game.
Yeah, I'm having fun. I mean, if we weren't having fun, I don't think that anybody would do this. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of time and effort that we put into something like this. If it wasn't fun, I don't know, you'd just be masochistic or something. Well, I think we are anyway. But it's a lot of experience that we've had. You know, we know what we want. We set out. We have this vision that we know exactly what we want, and a lot of times it's like, oh, this thing is missing, and I think that our pacing's not right because we're missing this, or how about we try this, and those kind of things really, and that all that builds on experience from playing other things as well as our previous experience with doing Diablo and stuff like that. A lot of people will play Hellgate and you'll get that kind of feeling that it is very similar to Diablo, but yet it's very different too. It's the new interface and it's 3D and all that kind of stuff, and so it's kind of like an updated version of that set in the future with guns and stuff, but you still, at that core, it feels a little bit like Diablo.
As I'm reading the text in the quests and I'm going through the progressions and doing stuff, there's a comfort level and a naturalness where it just goes together and it works and it meshes. And you know, like my most recent comparison would be to draw to like Titan Quest, which was a cool game. I mean, it looks good and the general ideas and stuff are there, but you know, it's not quite there. It's not quite at that same degree of, wow, I'm having a good time, or this makes sense, or like when they try and throw in a joke, which you guys have a lot of jokes in Hellgate. I mean, there's a lot of inside jokes in there, yeah. Right? But there's none of them that feel forced. So I guess, I mean, how much have you learned about how to deliver that comedy material, you know, or that inside joke stuff like that, but still keep the game on its feet and never feeling like, oh, they just slapped me in the face, they're forcing this?
Oh God, I don't really know. I mean, that's always been something that's been kind of a natural thing for me personally, and I don't really know how to describe it. It's like, as I'm playing a game, I'm constantly running through my mind, what would a person think playing this that's never played it before? It's a test that we used to call like our mom test. You know, if my mom was playing this game, would she get what we're doing? Is the pacing right? Is it going to keep her interested? You know what? And that's just, if my mom could play it, then I think that you know a general audience can play it. And that's really kind of, I try to keep that in mind as we're going through. And it's like, oh, they're not going to be able to make this leap. You know, I can see how this could be confusing, or they may not understand this, but you know, the people that are in the know might get this little off joke. But even if they don't get it, they're still going to enjoy this content.
So I guess like the next question, how is Hellgate doing then right now on the mom test?
Well, you know, I think that we're always trying our best to do that, and there's always changes we're making. I think that overall it's very good. We did a lot of things, tried to make a lot of auto targeting, and you know, make these things as simple as possible. I think it's different than Diablo. I don't think that it would pass it as well as Diablo did, mainly because of, in my opinion, WASD keys and the mouse and stuff is a level that is almost not a mom test. At the same time, we've tried to simplify that enough that hopefully if she could get that control down, then it would be all right. It's a little different than like you can play Diablo one-handed, but I think that you need two hands, and that adds a level of complexity, but I think people are more and more accepting of this control scheme, and it's more of a general audience. You know, once something like as big as World of Warcraft uses it, then people can kind of handle that. So
right.
I'm hoping that wasn't too big of a leap for us. You know, that's my only concern on the mom test.
If you were comparing, say, the games you guys have done before, back on the Diablo series, and how the story arc on that went versus the story arc here, what are some of the highlights we have to look forward to?
It's much, much bigger. You know, we're talking hundreds of quests. So I think that we've done a lot to really kind of expand that. There's the storyline quests are very involved. There's all sorts of unique things that come up. One of the things that I like the most about doing storyline quests and doing quests in general is I like to try and change up the gameplay a little bit for short amounts of time.
We saw a couple of those yesterday.
And so I think that those really add a lot of flavor to the game and add new experiences, and you're able to use your skills or whatever in different ways than you normally would. You know, there's the normal gameplay of I'm going through and I'm shooting monsters and collecting treasure and leveling up and doing all those kind of fun things. But then it's like, oh, I'm going to throw a little wrench in it, and the gameplay is just a little bit different for 5 or 10 minutes, and it's like, hey, that was kind of interesting. I got to use skills that I normally wouldn't use, or I got to do something that is a lot different than what I've done before.
We're almost done with it, right? So what character class are you going to play when it comes out? What's the first one you're going to play?
Well, I think that Marksman's probably my favorite. When I originally thought of the idea, that was my pitch in my living room, was let's make a first-person shooter Diablo, you know, and so I think the class that I think that portrays that vision of what I had in mind the best is the Marksman. So,
In a nutshell, what was the first pitch?
that was it.
That was the whole pitch?
Pretty much, I think.
What did you see the story being like? Did you already have like the Hellgate thing?
No. We didn't have it. The way that I design, and the way that I think that a lot of people design, and kind of the team that we have, is we are very focused in on, okay, what's the game going to be like? And then the story kind of fits in after that. It's like, okay, well, we've got this great idea we're going to go around and shoot monsters and level up and get treasure and stuff. And instead of having, you know, the 6 or 8 guns, or, you know, 12 or 16 or whatever, we're going to have 100 guns, and we're going to have all these skills, and we're going to have all, you know, we're going to just take that funness of this first-person shooter and allow you to level up and get some skills and stuff. And that was really the original idea. And then after that, shortly after that, within a few days, we decided on a setting, and it would have to be future if we're going to have guns involved and stuff like that. So, plus we had done fantasy, you know, traditional fantasy for such a while. Well, it was almost gothic fantasy for a while. People wanted to do something new, you know.
Sure.
And so the future and futuristic sci-fi kind of thing was really, and then I don't remember exactly who suggested, but somebody suggested London. It was either Phil or Max, I can't remember. And then after that, it just all kind of fell into place.